Welcome to the Poorly Educated Podcast. Today in History Edition, where the facts are solid, the accent is optional, and our editorial board is me, a jar of pickled eggs, and my cousin who thinks primary sources means the good gas station. September 9th ain't just another square on the calendar, it's the buffet line, a human drama. Crowning, crashing, conquering, and a whole lot of, y'all ain't gonna believe this. So crack a cold mountain lightning, adjust your camo formal wear, and let's time travel like the DeLorean had a gun rack. Segment 1. From colonies to kinfolk. Brandon to country, 1776. All right, September 9th, 1776, Congress brands us from United Colonies to United States, which is like changing your Facebook status from is complicated with King George to married to freedom, y'all. That one little word swap is big-time psychology. Colony says, I live in mom's basement. States says, I got my own double wide, and the title's in my name. Jefferson had already test drove the name in June, but today they made it official. Like when my aunt finally stopped calling her boyfriend the handyman and started introducing him as your Uncle Ronnie, who fixed the porch and moved in. Don't sleep on names. If you call your team the Possums, nobody fears you. Call it the United States. Now Lafayette's leaning over the rail like, mon Dieu, I should invest. The muskets were still hot in New York. But the paperwork said, hey, we're a people. And sometimes the right paperwork is the difference between a dream and a DMV line that never ends. It's branding, it's diplomacy, and it's the original fake it till you make it, except with cannons. Segment 2. Gold fever, blue laws, California joins the party, 1850. September 9th, 1850. California strolls in like a guy who skipped the line at the honky-tonk. No territory phase. I found a gold, make me a state. And Congress, bless its overstressed heart, duct tapes together the compromise of 1850. You get a free state out west. You get popular sovereignty in a couple of new territories. You abolish the slave trade in D.C., but not slavery. And then, because we can't have nice things, they slap on the Fugitive Slave Act so heavy-handed, it might as well be a cast iron skillet. And this is what we call a political casserole. Throw every leftover in the dish and hope the cheese hides the taste. Except that act made Northerners watch slavery up close. Like, surprise, you're an accessory. It radicalized folks faster than a preacher who found the moonshine still behind the choir loft. California's gold wasn't just shiny. It was a timer on a national pressure cooker. You can't sprint to statehood without tripping alarms, and brother, by 1861, the alarms were a full marching band. Segment 3. DPRK. The name says Democratic. The vibe says don't ask. 1948 is September 9th. 1948. North Korea declares itself the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And now, I'm just a humble historian in a hat that says Bass Pro. But if you gotta put Democratic in the name, chances are your ballot boxes are more decorative than functional. It's the Cold War split screen. South declares in August, North in September, and the peninsula turns into the world's most dangerous Who wore it best? The answer is tanks. The thing about September 9th up there is it ain't just a date. It's an origin story where the heroes and villains that depend on which newsreel you watched. Names again, People's Republic sounds cozy, like there's a potluck after the meeting. But it was a foreign-backed install job, and within 2 years the whole peninsula is on fire. File under labels that lie like family-sized bag of chips or standard hotel pillow. Segment 4. William the Conqueror's very bad funeral, 1087. William the Conqueror dies on September 9th, 1087, and the man who reorganized England like it was his sock drawer somehow forgot funeral logistics. 101. Courtiers scatter to grab loot faster than my cousins at an estate sale. Somebody interrupts the eulogy to argue about stolen land. Peak medieval Yelp review. And when they try to squeeze William's not exactly svelte self into an undersized stone box, it goes, grammatically wrong? Is it gross? Yep. Is it perfect symbolism? Also, yep. Rule by one big man means when big man hits the exit, The system suddenly runs like my lawnmower. Sputter, cough, and pray. He splits Normandy and England between two suns like you'd split a bucket of wings, except all the barons own land on both sides, and now everybody's committing treason, no matter which Thanksgiving they attend. It's how to guarantee a sequel nobody wanted. Lesson: if your plan is my personality holds it together, you best have a plan B that isn't hope the coffin fits. Segment 5. Mao exits, market enters, the 70-30 special. 1976, September 9th, 1976, Mao dies, and the nation built on permanent revolution suddenly gets a revolution of a different flavor, spreadsheets. The Gang of Four tries to grab the steering wheel, gets yanked like catfish off a dock, and pretty soon Deng Xiaoping is serving market socialism with a side of single-party reality. Hey, the paradox is delicious. The iron party Mao forged becomes the very tool to liberalize the economy without liberalizing the politics. It's like using a padlock to open a store. Secure the hinges, open the register. China's pivot is proof that sometimes the only way out of an ideology cul-de-sac is to put a different engine in the same car. Call it 70-30, 70%. We like the state. 30%, we like profit. Shake well, serve cold, and 15 years later, the whole globe is asking if you can ship overnight. History's mean. It lets a strong man build the tool that dismantles his own system after he's gone. Timing is everything, whether you're running a country or catching the 2-for-1 Moz sticks. Segment 6. Attica, hey, we are men and the cost of a megaphone, 1971. September 9th, 1971, Attica erupts. Overcrowding, rotten food, medical neglect. This wasn't a tantrum, it was a ledger. The inmates' list runs from religious freedom to legal counsel to the core proclamation, we are men. The negotiations almost get there until amnesty and the warden question jam the gears. Then comes the retake. Smoke, bullets, truce delayed, and bodies counted. 43 dead by the end. The official story tried to pin throat slitting on the inmates. Autopsies said otherwise. Facts have a way of kicking the door in even when the hinges are welded. Attica births two futures at once, a prisoners' rights movement that forces real reforms and a political brand called Law and Order that bulldozes those reforms later. It's the American duet. Protest and backlash, advance and retreat, a waltz in combat boots. You can hear the chorus echo from the yard to the State House. Safety versus dignity, shouted in alternating verses. If the country's a grill, Attica is the flare-up that reminded us what happens when grease builds and nobody cleans the grate. Segment 7. The Boston Blue Flu and Coolidge Bundas, Coos catchphrase, 1919. September 9th, 1919. Most of Boston's police walk off the job over lousy pay and worse conditions. City, chaos. Coolidge plays sheriff, calls in the state guard, and drops the soundbite that launches a career. There is no right to strike against the public safety by anybody, anywhere, anytime. That sentence is a political Swiss Army knife, compact, sharp, and it opens cans. The strikers lose, policing unions get the stink eye for decades, and politicians learn the magic trick. Change the frame from labor rights to civilization on fire, and voters will carry you to higher office like you're crowd surfing at a county fair. It's Attica's prequel in the strategy department, starring a future president who understood you win arguments not with nuance, but with a bumper sticker that fits on a Model T. Segment 8. Elizabeth II, outlast your phone battery, 2015. September 9th, 2015, Elizabeth II becomes Britain's longest reigning monarch. Victoria had the Empire Warranty Plan. Liz had the Smile Through It Plan. She reigned through decolonization, Beatlemania, Thatcherism, Britpop, Brexit, and that one season of The Crown my aunt swears is a documentary. Her superpower is showing up, week after week, like the world's most polite metronome. Big picture. The monarchy shapeshifts from engine to ornament, from hard power to brand management. And you know what? That's survival. You can rule less and symbolize more and still hold a country's mirror without breaking it. Continuity is a weird kind of change. It moves by not moving. Also, somewhere in there she opened Buckingham Palace to pay for repairs, which is the posh version of turning your barn into an Airbnb. Segment 9. Elvis, Waist Up and All In, 1956. September 9th, 1956. Elvis hits Ed Sullivan. Producers say, film him waist up, like decency can be cropped. Joke's on them. America goes feral anyway. That camera line wasn't a leash, it was a spotlight. What you hide becomes the headline. Every dad in Ohio mutters that rock and roll is a gateway to delinquency. Every teen learns that if adults hate it, it's probably delicious. Censorship is a trampoline. You push down, the thing bounces higher. Elvis didn't just sing. He negotiated a truce between gospel and blues and teenage hormones on live TV. Rock and roll moves from jukebox to living room, and suddenly culture ain't traveling by train, it's teleporting by antenna. The gatekeepers were gatekept by their own gate. Segment 10, lightning round, marathon to Mark II, a tailgated time. Let's speed walk the timeline like we'd left the brisket in the smoker too long. Marathon 490 BC, Athens beats Persia, democracy keeps its receipt, and a tired runner invents the worst 26.2-mile party favor. Year 1000, Svolder. Vikings do Viking things. Naval battle, kings fall, maps get redrawn, fjords remain scenic. 1513, Flodden. Scotland invades. England replies, king dies, and bagpipes gain another lament. 1911, Italy picks a fight with the Ottomans in North Africa, and history starts laying the runway for WWI like it's rolling out carpet nobody ordered. 1942, a Japanese sub launches a float plane to bomb Oregon forests. Damp trees say nah. It's the only aerial bombing of the continental U.S., also the only time an Oregon pine shrugged off an international incident. 1943, Salerno landings. Allies punch open Italy's front door while the Axis hides behind the sofa with a Panzer. 1993, Israel-PLO mutual recognition letters. 2 signatures trying to bridle a tornado. Days later, Oslo Accords and history's GPS says recalculating every 5 minutes. Science break. 1892. Barnard spots Aunt Malthea, Jupiter's moon. The last one eyeballed before photography takes over and astronomers stop pretending they're pirates with telescopes. 1926, RCA births NBC. National broadcasting means America shares a living room. 1947, the Mark II computer logs a moth as the first actual case of bug. I too have debugged a system by removing wildlife from a carburetor. 1999, Sega Dreamcast arrives with built-in online. It's the brilliant kid who graduates early and then moves away. 2008, and then the Large Hadron Collider spins up. Conspiracy uncles warn about black holes while physicists quietly go Higgs please. Spoiler, the universe remains, but with more data and better merch. Legal and civic oddities. 1836, Abe Lincoln gets his law license. Plot twist, he'll need it. 1893, a Cleveland baby is born in the White House, proving at least one government project came in on time. 1957, Civil Rights Act squeaks through. Limited, imperfect, but the dam here's a crack. 1965, HUD is born to fix cities that cars and redlining already beat up. 1998, the Star Report lands like a tuba, dropped from a blimp. Scandal hearings, an entire generation learns way too much vocabulary for a school night. In conclusion, creation, collision, consequence, September 9th is a reminder that history's not a museum, it's a tailgate that never ends. Nations get named like NASCAR teams, empires trip over their own shoelaces, prisons shout to be heard, pop music breaks into the living room, and science quietly rewires the universe while you're arguing about the remote. Power consolidates, power collapses, people demand to be treated like people. The through line is simple. Names matter, rules matter, dignity matters. And if you don't leave room in the coffin, literal or political, something's gonna burst. Here at the Poorly Educated Podcast, we honor the past the only way we know how, by telling it straight, laughing so we don't cry, and keeping our boots on the ground while our heads peek over the fence. If you learned something, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell me, and I'll rename the episode United Facts of America, just to make Congress proud. Till next time, keep your history close, your sense of humor closer, and your raccoon producer away from the power strip.